Good evening, all, and thanks for joining us. On behalf of Bajaj Finance Limited, I'd like to welcome you for today's session. Friends, like always, it is a continuous and consistent endeavor to bring latest knowledge and news from the world of mutual fund for our audience and customers, and for which we keep inviting leaders from the mutual fund industry to come and share their knowledge and expertise with us. Today, we have with us Mr. Sorbh Gupta, Senior Fund Manager from Bajaj Finserv AMC. And today, he'll talk to us about the NFO of Bajaj Finserv Consumption Fund. Mr. Gupta, I would like to welcome you for today's session.
Thank you, Rohan. Thanks for inviting us.
It's always a pleasure to have you, sir. Friends, before we start, I'd like to give a quick introduction about Mr. Gupta. He's a seasoned investment professional with an extensive experience of over 16 years. He has been instrumental in defining investment strategies and opportunities in Indian equity markets for institutional and retail clients. He has been with Bajaj Finserv AMC since 2022, and by qualification, he is a qualified CA and a CFA. Friends, before we begin, I'd like to explain the term NFO to our audience. What is an NFO? NFO stands for New Fund Offer. It is the initial sale of mutual fund scheme issued by a fund house for their investors. The NFO allows the fund house, like Bajaj Finserv AMC, to accumulate the initial corpus so that fund managers like Mr. Gupta can build a portfolio based on the investment objective of that particular scheme. Fund house generally offers a subscription period of around 10 to 15 days, which is called the NFO period. And friends, for Bajaj Finserv Consumption Fund, the NFO period has already begun. It has started from 8th of this month and will be ending soon. Friends, अभी अभी हमारा दिवाली का सीज़न ख़त्म हुआ है और हम सभी ने दिवाली में बहुत शॉपिंग की है। नए कपड़े, घर का डेकोरेशन, गिफ्ट्स, मिठाइयाँ, चॉकलेट्स, नए अप्लायंसेस, टीवी, फ्रिज, हम सभी ने कुछ ना कुछ तो खरीदा है। अगर वो एक छोटा-सा गेमिंग कंसोल क्यों ना हो बच्चों के लिए। Well, friends, according to data, a small data which was published by Business Standard a few weeks ago, uh, Indians were likely to spend around 185,000 crore in 2004 Diwali, and out of which around 40 to 50% was for home decors, gifts, sweets, bakery products, etc. Friends, these Diwali statistics show the might of India's consumption power. And just imagine, दिवाली के सेलिब्रेशन के साथ साथ हम इसमें अपने लिए वेल्थ भी बना सकते हैं। हमने अपनी दुकान तो नहीं खोली, बट पटाखों की दुकान और ये मिठाई की दुकान तो खोली नहीं, बट हम अपने इन्वेस्टमेंट के जरिए अपने लिए अगर वेल्थ भी बना सकते इंडिया के इस कंजम्पशन से, तो वही चीज को ला रहा है बजाज फिनसर्व एएमसी का consumption fund. Friends, what is a consumption fund? A consumption fund is a thematic fund which focuses on sectors related to consumption driven industries. Friends, to explain this particular consumption fund, today Mr. Gupta will walk us through the details of what Bajaj Finserv AMC has to offer with their new NFO. So, without wasting much time, I'd like to hand over the stage to Mr. Gupta. Sir, I'll request you to take it ahead from here.
Thank you, Rohan. Thanks again for inviting us. And very interestingly, you have started. आपने जो शुरुआत की कंजम्पशन से देखिए भारतीय होने के नाते हमें ये समझना चाहिए कि भारत की जीडीपी का 65-70% इज कंजम्पशन एंड दैट इज प्राइवेट कंजम्पशन जो आप मैं और हम सब लोग अर्न करते हैं और कंज्यूम करते हैं राइट फ्रॉम फूड to dresses to apparels to cars to electronics, all those things that we consume, whether it is a wedding, it is a it's a festival or anything else that contributes to 65-70% of India's GDP. So it's a very very huge opportunity out there that we see from an investment perspective. So, Megha, if you could just share the slides that we would have mailed it to you so that I can just walk you through how we are looking at the consumption side. Can you move to the next slide? Oh, yeah, one slide more. Yeah. So, to walk you through how things are or how things are changing, Uh, Rural FMCG market, if you see, it's estimated to be $100 billion by 2025. Just some tidbits on how we are seeing the consumption market in India. Indian food services close to be $125 billion in next 4-5 years. और ये सब numbers बहुत बड़े हैं. Indian organic food market to reach $2.6 billion. और ये सब मैं I'll explain you the basic concept of how we are looking at all these categories. Smartphone, India should be the second largest market by 2032. And two-wheeler, again a huge consumption piece for all of us. Now, think of it from that perspective that अगर कंजम्पशन 65-70% ऑफ इंडिया जीडीपी है और इंडिया की जीडीपी 9 से 10% नॉमिनल पे रेट पे ग्रो हो रही है, तो कंजम्पशन भी ब्रॉडली वो रेट पे ग्रो हो रहा है. But definitely, when we are looking at investments and we are looking to invest in companies, we are looking at opportunities which can grow a bit faster. In the learning curve of any economy, the consumption patterns also change. So what we look at within the consumption is we are looking at four big mega trends in the consumption. So instead of walking through each slide, maybe I'll walk you through how we are looking at things in terms of consumption. Uh, so mega trends within consumption is something which we are focusing. So what are the big four mega trends that we will be focusing on the consumption for this fund? Number one, consume more. And I'll give you one example each, and you will feel very related of how things are happening around us. अब आप सोचिए कि आज से 7-8 साल पहले या 10 साल पहले, हाउ मेनी टाइम्स वर यू ईटिंग आउट एंड हाउ मेनी टाइम्स यू आर ईटिंग आउट राइट नाउ, राइट? सो मे बी 7 साल 10 साल पहले यू आर ईटिंग आउट 3 मंथ्स में एक बार या महीने में एक बार. नाउ द फ्रीक्वेंसी फॉर ऑल ऑफ अस इज एटलीस्ट हफ्ते में एक बार, एटलीस्ट eat stepping out and eating. So the frequency of consumption of eating out has increased, right? So certain businesses who are serving food outside, maybe a restaurant, a QSR, a fast food chain, or a good outlet serving biryani or morning breakfast, all that thing are doing very well. And I'll also come to the reasons why it is happening, but let me first explain all the four big megatrends. So this is consume more. Also think about 10-15 years ago when we were quite young, and maybe some of us were starting careers or were maybe in college. How many footwears did our parents have? Maybe two, three, four. And how many footwears are we having right now? Five, six, seven, maybe more, right? So per capita footwear in India is just two. So think from that perspective that average Indian right now still has only two footwear, right? As the prosperity increase, as people's needs increase, all these things people will consume more and more. So certain footwear companies, certain designer footwear companies or sneaker makers will benefit a lot more from that increase in consumption rate of certain products, certain things, right? So that is one mega trend, increased frequency of consumption that we will see as the prosperity rise. Second is premiumization. Again, a huge trend that is playing out, and it has been playing out for long. I'll just give you one example. Let's look at automobile sector. Let's look at last 3 years का अगर आप data देखें, just bifurcate the data, and that data is available publicly by SAM, the Association of Automobiles in India, that publishes data. Just bifurcate the data between 1500 sorry 1500 cc and more, and 1500 cc and less cars. More than 1500 cc cars are growing. The sales of those cars are growing at 25% every year. And below 500 cc cars are growing at 10% every year. So that market is growing. And that is happening in every category. Today, one builder will tell you that he's selling more 4 BHKs than 1 BHKs. So everybody is looking for bigger flats, for bigger houses, and this is something which is structural in nature. Let's look at a very long-term mega trend of consumption in India, which is two-wheelers. India as a country lacks public transport. Bearing a very few cities like Mumbai, Calcutta, and maybe a bit of Chennai, no place in India has connectivity, public bus or something. So the only way to commute is two-wheeler for most of the Indians. So just think of it, go back in history and see between 1990 to 2000, which was the category of bike which was selling the fastest in this country. it was a 100 cc bike, Hero Honda Splendor. From 2000 to 2010, it was a 150 cc bike by Bajaj, which was the fastest growing. And from 2010 to 2020, it was 250 cc by Royal Enfield. And now you see very, very frequently 300, 400, 500, even 600 cc bikes selling very fast in this country, right? So as the prosperity rose, premium bikes slowly moved up the value chain. So as an investor, while two-wheeler selling in India was a big mega trend, but every 10 years that segment has changed in terms of growth rates. So premiumization has moved up very, very well over the last 30 years in this category, and that is will continue as people prosper a little more. Third is consume better, the example of organic food that we talked about, right? Sorry. More and more people are getting conscious about what they are eating and the quality of food, nutrients of the food, and all those things. That is bringing in a lot of growth to certain opportunities like nutrients, proteins, gyms, and also organic food category. Maybe 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I wouldn't have looked at a pack of processed food and looked behind it how much refined flour does it have, how much sugar does it have, all those things. People generally used to ignore it. Sorry, just give me a moment. Sorry, I'm having a bad throat. But nowadays, people are very, very conscious about the quality of intake that they are doing, and they're ready to pay a premium for that. Hence, the organic food market in India will grow upwards of 30% every year for next 10 years, opening up a huge opportunity. The fourth big mega trend is consume easy. Now think of it. If you want to buy a pack of bread which costs 50 rupees and you walk to a store which charges you 70 rupees for that bread, you won't pay 70 rupees for that bread. But sitting at home on your couch, you want to order that bread of 50 rupees and you want to pay 20 rupees premium for delivery, you will pay for it. And that is 40% more for that same bread pack, and people are ready to pay for it. This is because of convenience. Consume easy. And more people will like that easy consumption or convenience, and they will pay for it. And that is not only happening in top 5, top 10 cities, but across the board. Even smallest of the places where these online groceries or quick delivery opportunities are opening up, people are grabbing it with both hands. Any fast growing opportunity. By 2028, if I'm not wrong, 27 crore online deliveries will happen in this country, and still we wouldn't have penetrated more than top 100 cities in this country. So again, a huge opportunity that is opening up. So we will be focusing on these four mega trends in this fund, and these four fast growing opportunities we'll be looking to invest. Now, coming to a question of why this is happening, it is very important to understand why this is happening. Number one, the increase in per capita income. Big story of this country. So we are close to $2,700 per capita income, and we are moving up very, very fast. Why does it happen when per capita income changes? Consumption of discretionary items increase. Very simple. An average Indian consumption basket consists 40% food, and that is how CPI or inflation is calculated by RBI. If you look at China, in China, average consumption of a Chinese has just 19% food, and for an American, it is just 13% of food. So, as the income of prosperity rises, you don't start to consume more food. You might change a bit of quality, but you won't consume more because you have a finite hunger. But then, if you have extra money, you start to spend more on shoes, expensive shirts, cars, bus, all those things, right? So there is whole discretionary market which uh, kind of grows very, very fast as in a country in its life moves a certain threshold of per capita income, and $2,500 is that threshold. We are currently at $2,700. So whole this gamut of premiumization and discretionary will move up very, very fast. So that is one reason we see very fast growing consumption categories emerging in India in that discretionary category. Second is availability of credit. And who would understand better than people who work with Bajaj Finserv? Right? Our own group company is a beneficiary of that. Walk into a Chroma or a Vijay Sales, and you will see you rarely find a product with an MRP tag. All the tags are now EMI tags. Anybody who could afford a 40-inch TV walks up to the store and he sees on an EMI basis he can afford an 80-inch TV. He goes and buy an 80-inch TV. So easy availability of credit is also making people move up the value chain, and the growth in consumption is increasing. Third is how the families are changing in India in terms of nuclearization and double income households. One, it increases the income, and consumption pattern also changes. If female steps out of to work when the family income increases. Secondly, lot of activities which the woman used to support is now supported by outside agencies like restaurants, online food deliveries, all those things. Even consumption pattern in terms of higher intake or higher usage of cosmetics also changes. So all these things happen as more double income households increase in India and nuclear families take shape in India. Fourth is the habits, social habits that are changing, evolving because of social media and other things. Now, I happened to meet one of the big luggage makers in this country about a year ago, and he was doing a very good sales number on terms of luggages. And I happened to ask him that you are doing very good business post COVID because people now want to travel more. His answer was, yes, Saurabh, you're right, and you're wrong too. You're right because, yes, post COVID, people are traveling more, but you're wrong in the sense that this is the only driver of growth. About 3 4 years ago, if you had walked into a garment store in a mall, you would see garment store having mirrors to check whether that garment is looking good on you. Now you walk to any new mall with a new luggage store, you will see most of the luggage stores have mirrors because the new generation wants to see how they look with their luggage when they click a photo or a selfie and put it in on Instagram. That means more variety, more colors of luggage people are buying, and that is driving a lot of sales for this luggage guy. Right. So these are some of the things which is driving a lot of growth and a lot of opportunities for people like us who are trying to create a fund. As people consume more, more opportunities arise, faster growth opportunities arise, and we create a portfolio around that. Maybe Megha, you can move a little quickly fast on how the index is in this fund. You can please continue to move. I'll let you know when to stop. Continue to move. Yeah, uh, just move on. I'll tell you when to stop. Yeah, just stop. Go back. Go back. Go back. Yeah, this one. This that one. Maybe this one more. One preceding slide, please. Megha. Yes. So this is the saffron line that you see is the Nifty consumption index return, and the blue line you see is the Nifty 500 return, right? So if you see the consumption as a category of companies as an index have outperformed the general broader index over the last 3 5 7 10 years, right? Now move ahead, Mega, 2 slides, one more slide, please. Yeah, stop here. Now look at the drawdowns when markets get volatile. In 2008, when the global financial crisis happened, Nifty 500 fell by 64% from top to bottom, and the consumption index fell by 53%. Similarly, during COVID, Nifty 500 fell by 38%, while the consumption index fell by 32%. So you have an index or a category which falls less and outperforms also. So on a risk adjusted basis, sorry, on a risk adjusted basis, you are very well placed to buy into this category, both in terms of drawdown and when markets move up. So if you can move ahead. Mega, you can move ahead. One more slide. Yeah, continue to move ahead, please. I'll just summarize and the slide. Yeah. Just previous slide. Yeah. What we will do is we have a universe of more than 700 stocks, of which around 280 stocks are under megatrend. About more than 100 companies come under consumption that we track, and we try to create a portfolio of, sorry about this number, 25 to 30. We will try to create a portfolio of 25 to 50 stocks which are best suited for this category and which benefits from the broader consumption theme. One more thing that person should keep in mind in this fund is that this is a flexi cap category, right? So as a fund manager or an investment team, we have a flexibility to buy smaller companies, mid-sized companies, and even larger companies. So, depending upon where the opportunity lies, we will be moving the portfolio from either a small cap, mid cap, and small cap. Right now, we see better opportunity from a risk reward and valuation perspectives in the large cap. But as and when situation warrants and we get more ideation in the mid and small, we'll move the portfolio accordingly. So, you have a consumption category which tends to outperform the market both during falls and moving up. You have a flexi cap portfolio focusing on mega trends. So, this festive season or this marriage season, if you're looking to consume more, better to save a little more money and benefit from this whole consumption theme that is happening in this country and make some money. If you have a outlook for 3 to 5 years, it's a great place to be. Consumption, India consumption, and we are trying to create a portfolio with that perspective. I'll stop here before my throat totally gives away, and if there are questions, I'll be happy to take. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll just wait for audience and ask our audience if there are any questions if you have. Um, so, sir, meanwhile, our audience is trying to figure out if they have any questions for us. And I know you are having a bad throat. I'll ask a very simple question, sir. For the youngsters who are looking ahead to invest, how could this fund become a part of their investment portfolio? At the same time, what is the horizon they should look at? And third, what would be the appropriate approach? Would it be SIP approach or a lump sum approach for this particular fund?
Sure, Rohan. For youngsters, just think of it in your life going ahead. What are you planning to consume, and how you think that you will evolve as a consumer? And those are the categories we are also looking at. Right? So, what happens is that whenever you consume, you spend that money, and corporates make a lot of money. This is a way, investing in a consumption fund is a way to get back some of your money. Simply put, you consume,
Yes.
companies benefit, and since you are a shareholder of those companies through this fund, you also benefit. So, for definitely very very important for the youngster who are starting off with a job, that they save something and move money to this consumption category. That is one. From an outlook perspective, at least 3 to 5 years is something that everyone should have in mind, because this is a multi-year, multi-decade theme, and any equity investment to play out very nicely and beautifully, one should wait for 3 to 5 years. So that should be the minimum horizon. In fact, it should be longer. So that should be the investment horizon. And the third, Rohan, what was the point that you were asking?
SIP or lump sum.
Okay. Market, thanks to the markets, after 1.5 year, we are having a reasonably good correction in the markets. I think it will be a great time to look at lump sum to start with. But if you are having a long term horizon and you want to invest for longer periods of time, SIP is also good. But if you have a current pool of money which you want to put lump sum, thanks to this market correction, you should put that money into lump sum right now.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Well, I guess our audience does not have any questions. Uh, so, uh, so I'll also wrap this session, and as your throat is also not uh, keeping well, so it's fine. So, sir, thank you so much for this session. I'll request my audience if they have any queries, please comment in the comment section, and our team of experts will get back to you with all the right answers. I would want our audience to visit our website or download our app, visit the mutual fund section where you can see this NFO listed. You can invest in it via lump sum or SIP mode. As sir said, lump sum can be an ideal approach due to the market corrections. But people who do not have much money can choose an SIP. This fund offers you to invest a minimum amount, start a SIP with the minimum amount of rupees 500. Well, friends, you will also find all the details about the fund on the fund details page of in our website and app. I hope you go through all the details, make a decision, informed decision to invest in this particular fund. Friends, thank you for joining us, and I will like to wish you the very best. At the same time, we Bajaj Finance Limited want to be your partner in the journey of wealth creation. I hope the session by Mr. Gupta helped you with all the details which are required for this particular NFO. At the same time, I like to wish Mr. Sorbh Gupta and Bajaj Finserv AMC all the very best for this NFO. I hope they collect a lot of coppers so that they can create wealth for consumers and investors like us, and also for all the stakeholders of their organization. Well, friends, with this I like to end this session. Mr. Gupta, before ending, if you want to share any few words before we end.
Yes, sir. Rohan, just to summarize, all the listeners, saving is a good habit, but putting that saving to use is even more important. And this is a category consumption which is very relatable, and whenever you consume, you benefit. So that is how it is. So अगर हिंदी में कहूँ तो आम के आम गुठलियों के दाम, आप कंज्यूम कीजिए और इस फंड में इन्वेस्ट कीजिए और कंजम्पशन का फायदा उठाइए.
वेरी वेल सेड सर. आप कंज्यूम कीजिए, वेल्थ बनाइए, और हमें बजाज फाइनेंस लिमिटेड का अपना पार्टनर बनाइए. आप हम पे भरोसा रखिए, एंड वील इंश्योर टू प्रोवाइड यू विद द बेस्ट ऑफ services with respect to your investments. Friends, thank you for joining us. We'll be surely be coming with more sessions with Bajaj Finserv AMC and Mr. Gupta. So stay tuned, and thank you so much for joining us. Bye, everyone. Bye. Thank you, sir.